What is good, everybody? What is good? It's Big Game James, man. We back in these streets, man. We back in these mother sucking streets, and we apologize. Usually we are going on at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. But you know what? My stepdaughter had a cheerleading, well, football game, and she had to do her cheerleading, and I had to be there to support. You feel me? So that's the reason why the delay, and the team won, so that's a good thing. Had a big interception, was able to hold it down, got the dub. She did her thing, and now we're here talking about these Cowboys that just got their ass kicked against the Saints. But we're here. What's up, Mike?
Good, but no, the delay actually worked out because I'm still honestly still trying to get sorted a little bit. So, lady worked a little late today, so she got home about 4 minutes before we was in the green room. So, trying to get a little sandwich cranked out a little bit real quick and get everything situated. So it worked out. I probably wouldn't have been able to get going until 6:45 anyways. On the low end. So
Hmm.
other than that,
Well, see, like I said, it did work out. It didn't work out for these Cowboys Sunday. So now we're
yeah,
going to do our quick recap. You heard it from 10,220 other Cowboys content creators, but you haven't heard it from us. So let's jump right into it, Big Mike. Um, what's your initial thoughts of that game?
my initial thoughts are different than my um, 2 days later. I'm removed from the situation quick game recap on the coaches film cut ups. At first I just thought they got out schemed and this, that, and the other, and then I sit down and I watch it, and they just got their ass kicked. It
Hmm.
wasn't it wasn't no uh, San Francisco 2018 McVay, any of that nonsense. There was dudes. It was one on one people
Hmm.
getting absolutely handled, and so I guess my question to that is, I can get into the why. Zen said it wasn't scheme. The players say it wasn't scheme. We know it wasn't scheme because the players were in the right spot. They just couldn't do their job because I don't think Zen has the personnel on this team to make a proper defense. And I was talking about it a little bit last night where it's going to be a bit of a coin flip, which it always is. That's how play calling goes, especially as a defensive coordinator.
Hmm.
A coin flip on is this down, am I calling it right? Is it really going to be the run this time, or are they gonna go up and over? And the only time you'll really have an issue with that changing from what it should be is a quarterback who's actually decent in the pocket, and that's what happened with Derek Carr. Is they gambled and he called and the pass rush didn't get there. There was absolutely no pass rush. I don't know the numbers. I've watched the game. I don't think Derek Carr got pressured 4 times, like legitimately pressured. Um, and then you saw quit, and people have been talking about it. I've talked about it. There's a I don't like the mental makeup of your quote unquote star players on that defense. I've seen too much quit, and they quit in the first quarter. That's that's tough, man. Um, so I'm rambling a little bit. My general consensus is they had a bad day at the office. It happens. Not to that level, but it happens every single week. There's a team where you're watching your game or whatever, and you glance down at Twitter or you get a game update on the TV and you see the hell the Raiders are beating Kansas City by 30 points. What what? And that happens every single week. I don't think the Cowboys are the worst defense in the league. I don't think they're the best defense in the league. They showed both of those in week 1 and week 2. So more than likely, the truth is somewhere around here. The problem
Let
is
me
with
let
Mac.
me jump in on that
Sure.
right. Let me jump in on that
Mhm.
right quick though, Mike. I don't want to take anything away from that Cleveland game. It may sound like I am. I was, happy about the way the guys played, especially Demarion Overshown. We saw a lot from that. We talked about that game. We liked a lot of the pieces that were doing it. But we also got to look at in that Cleveland game, they had
Mhm.
two starters that were ailing, another one that was on the mend. You didn't have a Nick Chubb, and Deshaun Watson is not the quarterback we're fearing no more. They just played the Jacksonville Jaguars, who's in a stink, and Trevor Lawrence does not look good either. And you saw they barely escaped that game. So that was the battle of the. So now when we look back at the Cleveland offense with the day the Dallas defense played, I want to ask you, was that maybe not good of our offense and it made Dallas's defense look better than it was, and then it really came to life what it really is against these Saints? Because we talk about this, Mike. Quarterback play does matter. You just mentioned it. You had a different quarterback in that game. We knew Deshaun Watson. We weren't worried about him, but me and you both talked on this show that we said you got to get after Derek Carr early. You got to put your hands on him early, because if he comes down in that first drive, we both said it. He comes down in that first drive, turning up and scores a touchdown. It's going to be a long day, and that's exactly what happened.
Literally word for word, literally word for word, what we talked about going into the game happened. And that I saw that play happen. I go, shit, shit.
Hmm.
So that's that's the issue. Is it's so scheme dependent. Where, like, honestly, I think they'll. A lot of people are down on them. I think they win this game. I really do, because that quarterback can't threaten you deep consistently. And if he wants to run for 120 yards, let him do it. Like, I mean, not let him do it. Within reason. The issue they have is when that quarterback gets time
Broken
and they get
plays,
and that,
explosive
and that
plays.
pass and that pass rush doesn't get home. You know, and it's that the
Hey,
way that
before you hold that thought, Mike. I have to jump in here. 808, he funny. Nobody's crying over here. And I have to let you know that nobody's crying over here. You're over here listening to it though, right? Nobody's over here crying. We're just talking about the game. I already told you my feelings about the lame duck season. So you can stop talking about people crying when I already told you about how the season's gonna go. Now, that's what it is, bro. Like, you're super Zeke guy, and Zeke ain't doing shit. Yeah, I just had to let you know that. 808. Anyway, go ahead, Mike.
well, yeah. So when you run up against these guys where then I've caught shit for saying this for years, but I know it's true because the arm talent doesn't lie and you don't do it that consistently. Derek Carr will never get the respect he deserves because he's a coward. If he's not going to play like a coward the way that he's been playing recently, leading into, you know, the tail end of last season, that is a really good quarterback. Now, do I think he's a difference? I mean, I guess he was on Sunday, so it's hard to say no. But that is a quarterback that if you do not get pressure on him and he's not going to be a coward, he was the original, Justin Herbert. The guy's had arm talent forever. You know that. I mean,
Hmm.
people shit on him because check downs and all this. If he's not going to be taking them check downs and he's going to fire that ball off, you can have a long damn day at the office, man. You dead. He can put it on you. And they went out there and kicked. I mean, who had Alvin Kamara getting 4 touchdowns
That's not out of the realm
in
against
20
Dallas, though.
in
Huh. That's
2020
the
in
thing.
2024? That's
I'm,
so
I
it's just
mean,
one of those things.
Aaron Jones has done it. I mean, there's been plenty of
Yeah.
Jamal Williams. There's been plenty of running backs that killed Dallas.
And we could talk about the offense if we want to, but I'm not here to talk about the offense when you set an NFL record on first half points. I'm just not. I'm
Six
not.
straight
You got
possessions scoring.
yeah
Six straight.
you got at the end of the day, field goals. Oh shit, field goals this side or the other. You still had was it 15 points from your offense in the first half, which is more. That's more than a lot of teams score in a damn game every week. So whatever, you got enough from your offense. I I'm not even going to talk about it. You were historically bad on defense, and I don't think there's a way to fix it. You just hope it doesn't happen again. And now we can transfer to week 3 if you would like, unless you're going to tack onto that a little bit.
I mean, I don't need to tack on to it, but all I'm gonna say is this: it's just the same story and the same song. You've had different coordinators. They did it to Dan Quinn. They did it to Mike Nolan. It's happened to Rob Marinelli. So it ain't just a scheme thing because all four of those coordinators have been, pretty good in the league, right? We can say all four coordinators that the Cowboys had, they have been successful in this league before. So now it's just a thing of it's got to be a culture thing because
Oh yeah,
y'all follow the lead of the front office, and it's flat. It's a lot of flash. I mean, that's what I think it is. It's a lot of flash. It's not a lot of grit and grime. It's a lot of flash though. Like you got a lot of flash stars on the team, right? But you don't have the grittiness. We don't have a gritty team. Dallas hasn't had a gritty team in a very long time, right? I ain't gonna say a very long time because I thought that 2022 team was
no, it's a
that was
very
that
long
was
time. I told you, 22
yeah,
was
it's been a
supposed to be
long
some
time.
good
But
years.
here's the thing: I saw a defense that I liked, and I haven't seen us really replicate it in that 2022 playoffs against them Niners. That was the defense I wish we could play every single week.
Yeah,
It's about effort,
unfortunately,
though.
yeah, and it's
And
that's
one more
what
thing,
I'm
Mike.
talking.
And one more thing, Mike. One more before you finish. It's also the front office on the fact that I said when you wanted to get Jordan Phillips 4 years ago when he was at his highest, Linville Joseph 4 years ago when they were in free agency at their highest. They're not touching that, right? What they do is they sit on their hands. They wait and wait and wait till they become cheaper, inexpensive, older, not going, okay, now we'll go ahead and take you. Well, 4 years later now, Linville Joseph is a journeyman. Okay. He's not nobody that he's not scaring anybody. Jordan, we just saw, we're going to talk, we could talk about him right quick because of what he said in the media today. But Jordan Phillips is not that guy 4 years ago that he was when he got the big deal. Okay. So you're getting guys that are not really going to make a difference on your team. They're journeyman guys. They're not elite guys. They're not guys that are going to make a difference in the line. They're plug guys because they're big boys, but they're still not going to come in and really dominate for your team. They're not upper echelon guys. And then you got a guy named Mozzie who you're still figuring out. You let your guy Rogers go, who you cut. That's the second guy, and John Ridgeway you cut for this other stuff. And now it's rearing its ugly head early. Now it's a long season, so it can definitely get rectified. But it's got to be within. But eventually, when you see these other teams with the younger talent or things of that nature, and you got guys in the middle, which has been the sore spot, and you keep filling it with guys that are journeyman types, orphans, that's not going to cut it.
Mm-hmm. It's absolutely not, and that's what I talked. This part of that thread I put, last night is, you know, you could talk about scheme, you could talk about effort, you could talk about all this stuff, and there was a problem with the effort. There wasn't a problem with the scheme, but the biggest problem is talent. You don't have talent on the front end of this defense. You just don't. And, you know, you got a first round pick, Eeyore, he just wants to take his little first round money and go sit down somewhere. You know, that dude does not want to play football. That dude
Mozzie,
doesn't want to. He doesn't want to work. He doesn't want to do anything but go sit down somewhere and just drink beer and sit on the couch.
bro, Mike. Okay, I'm agreeing with you right here, but I made a post like about a month ago about Mozzie, and it was showing it was a video and it had Marshawn Nealon right going with the pads, and he was firing off, firing off. And then I saw Mozzie, and I heard people say, "Oh no, he's doing the technique that Coach Z wants him to." So Don't look at no. I saw somebody who looked tired. He looked bothered. He looked. I want to go home. I saw the supreme effort from the other guys, but then I just saw him after he hit it. Just kind of like when he said he don't love football. That was a red flag because even if you don't love football, I don't know people coming out and saying it.
He don't
I don't know
he don't
players
love
come out.
anything.
You get what I'm saying? Like he's
He
playing it because, like you said, it's a check. I don't have to work at Walmart. I don't have to do this. I can get some good money, retire, and live. This dude ain't playing 10 years.
no.
He
That
may
dude
not
could
play five.
when that dude retires, he's gonna live on like $25,000 a year because that's how little he cares about doing anything. Anything. That's just and
I mean,
I've been really
body language speaks a lot, Mike, and he just
I've
shows the
been really
language of
careful.
I don't want to do this.
I've been really careful on talking about that. I was really last year, especially because there was some sensitive shit going on around that, and
Mm-hmm.
then you get
Mm-hmm.
the storage locker thing and everything else like that, and the kid, hey, I'm sensitive to it. I have it. I deal with it daily.
So do
I
I.
know that, you know,
It's
um,
real.
but at the end of the day, I can't fuck off my job 5 days a week because of it, or I won't have one. All right. So get it together or get out with your
I
back
just don't
tightened.
see it. I just feel like that pick. I'm sorry, and please y'all can say what y'all want me about with me on this, but I could be totally wrong, but I'm going with this one. Is that that first year, I'm sensitive to it too. We all go through mental issues. We do. So it's not like anybody's putting anything down with that. But when you say you don't love the game and then your body language and then your acts show you don't care or love it, how do you think you're going to get the performance that you need on each week when you don't care? And then we keep seeing the body language. Okay, it's just like Amari Cooper, bro, and we know this. Amari Cooper is
It's different
talented.
though. Amari
Oh,
Cooper was
he don't have the maybe
uh,
the, but you can't tell me Amari Cooper don't sulk, and his body language tells you when he comes back to that huddle. You see his neck, you see him. You know when his body language when he's checking out of that game. That's the thing with Amari. He sulks. He does. Nobody can't tell me he don't
that's what
sulk.
that's what I do. That's why I call him Ozzy Eeyore. He goes and sits on the bench, and then front shoulders tuck in, and he just sits there sad. And it's I get it. Like I said, I'm sensitive to it, but at the end of the day, you know
You got a
they
job, you
got
got to play.
they got millions and millions and millions invested in you, literally, and they're doing everything they can. That said, who cares? Whatever. I'm not going to beat on him anymore because to me, when I saw him walk off that field today with the bad back, that's the last time he. That's it. That's it.
I feel you. That's why I feel with it. I'm sorry. I'm not. We don't gotta talk about him, bash him, anything like that. But when I see that, I'm
No,
just like,
the,
I'm not falling for it. I'm not
it's
believing what these
the
people are
back
telling
thing,
me. I'm
man.
not falling for it. I'm not falling for it.
It's the
Not falling
back
for
thing because nobody can ever question you. Oh, my back's tight. Nobody
it.
ever
Mm-hmm.
questions that.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a hamstring. Actually a little worse. My ham, it's just my hand, my back, and because they know how serious it is. So you can,
You can fake.
I just,
Well, I'm not gonna say we're faking, but you can slide that one in.
I ain't gonna say he's not hurt, but I'm gonna say that, there's a difference in hurt and injured.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
we definitely missing Justin Rodgers at this point, as far as you
they've got
had
to
some
do something.
upside.
They've got to do something.
Carlos Watkins is not making me feel any
No,
better. He's a journeyman.
they've got to do something. And you know, we're being super negative. I still think they win this week because that's who this team is. That's who they
I don't
are.
know. They definitely, because we know how they bounce back, and when
That
everybody's
quarterback can't
against
throw.
Dallas. Yeah, when
That
everybody's
quarterback
against
can't
Dallas,
threaten
when
you
they
deep.
surprise. Hmm.
That quarterback cannot threaten you deep consistently. And when the quarterback cannot threaten you deep consistently, they tend to win those football games.
Hmm.
It's all matchup
I,
dependent. So,
well, talk about the Ravens because do you think this is a game? We know how the Ravens are a physical football team. That's their kind of
mhm.
MO. That's what they do. That's their game. Offense and defensively, they're a physical team. They want to out physical you, from the beginning of the whistle to the end of the whistle. Now, do you think they look at this game and say, okay, we're gonna copycat this, or do they say, let's kind of throw some little wrinkles in and kind of keep them off balance? What do you kind of think the game plan is with the Baltimore Ravens coming against Dallas?
for the Ravens against Dallas, the
What do
Ravens
you
are going
think
to
they're
do what
gonna
they
try to?
always do. It's going to be Lamar one read to the tight end. If the tight end's not there, take off. That's what they do. And
Do you think Derrick
everybody gets.
Henry touches it early or late?
Yeah, I think Derrick Henry touches it, but I think that the way that Baltimore runs their offense is advantageous to the way that Dallas has a defense right now. They're running. I talked about it. I know that Henry's got volume numbers, but if you go and look last week, 50 of those yards came on one run.
Hmm.
They're running Derrick Henry out of the shotgun. Derrick Henry for his entire
That's
career
not.
has been
That's now.
he's so they didn't think about the fit thing. You go and watch. I
Hmm.
know the numbers. Oh, you hear. I've been hearing it all week. Lamar Jackson of Derrick Henry had almost 300 yards rushing or whatever. Cool, great, grand, wonderful. You go and look, and that comes Derrick Henry's numbers pop on one run. If you can keep him from getting his hips to the goal line and picking up speed, because he's always been that way, and now he's even more that way because he's older. He's a locomotive. If you can get a hat on him, slow him down, spin him a little bit, you can contain his ass. And you need to keep Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson, Zay Flowers will get behind this defense at some point, and Lamar Jackson will miss him by 15 yards.
Hmm.
That's that's just the way they go. And it's always been everybody else's fault but Lamar for the why
Yeah.
their passing game. They just keep throwing wide receivers and this when at the end of the day it's what they fired uh not Munkin, is it Munkin? They fired old boy for because he built the offense out of that 12 set for the tight ends with Lamar Jackson. He wants to target the tight end. And this is where I'm going with. I think you go ahead and you put whoever you think your number one corner is, you put him on Andrews if he's healthy, and you bracket the other guy. You treat their tight ends like they're wide receivers, and then you go cover two, and you just keep everything in front of you. Keep everything in front of you, and you
Hmm.
hope. And by the end, I don't think it'll be a high scoring game. I think if you want to give me an over under, I'd probably say 33, like for real, and um, you keep everything in front of you and you shut those tight ends down. You make
Hmm.
Lamar Jackson throw it to his get to those reads and throw it to his wide receivers. And if your
Hmm.
pass rush doesn't get home in
Hmm.
that time, I can't handle another game of Micah Parsons getting evaporated.
Hmm.
You're supposed to be a defensive player of the year candidate. You're up for a contract. You're talked about like this. You're talked about like that. That shit that happened last week never happens to Bosa and Watt and Garrett and them. It doesn't. You don't get you don't hear about hey the way to take TJ Watt out of this game is to run right at him. So the plan to take the quote unquote the best defensive player on the team is to run right at him. That sounds a little ironic. How are you the best defensive player on the team when the way to take you out is to take the play right at you? You run right at Miles Garrett every down and your running back's probably going to leave an ambulance by the third quarter.
Agreed. Agreed. Hey, um, I agree with you totally with your assessment with that, especially with the tight end thing, because when we're talking about, like you said, the offense as the structure of the Baltimore Ravens, me and you
Yep.
have said many years we're not scared of Lamar Jackson throwing the ball.
Yep.
We've said that many years, and we when Dallas hasn't even played them, we said we're not worried about Lamar Jackson throwing that ball. That's what we're not worried about. And just like you said, especially to the receivers, because he's always looking for the Mark Andrews or now the Isaiah Likely. That's who the Cowboys need to be looking at. That Isaiah Likely, who's been going crazy, that's who he's going to be looking for all game. Him and Andrews, but
Yep.
specifically
Guess what?
Isaiah Likely.
Whichever one you pick is the biggest threat, put Diggs on him.
Yeah, you need to double that, and you need to just keep your eyes on the Zay Flowers from the broken play. If he gets outside the pocket, that's where you just said, don't let anything get behind you, just like you did in Derek Carr. That should have never happened. Y'all were in cover two, and there should no way a receiver should get the overtop of both of y'all. No way should that happen in a cover two. But when we're talking about that particular play, you know he likes to scramble. You know he likes to get outside that pocket, and that's the thing I worry about is the broken play, like a Zay Flowers. You don't see him, and the next thing you know, oh, Zay Flowers gets a 450-yard gain. Oh, what a quick juke, and he walks right in. That's what we don't want to see. And I agree with you about the fit because I feel like the fit, Mike, is like when DeMarco Murray went over to the Eagles. We knew we weren't worried about DeMarco Murray's taking his ass over to the Eagles because we knew that fit wasn't going to work. That was not
Mm-mm.
the right fit. And this is what I say with them Ravens. Even though they were all hyped, they got Derrick Henry. I totally agree with you. I was not worried about that. And even I looked at it, that's not the good fit. Derrick Henry cannot get the ball as big as he is out of a shotgun. He
He
is a
hold it.
court guy. He's under center guy. He's not shotgun guy. He needs a he needs, like you said, he's a train. He's a locomotive. He needs that get up speed. He can't just get it and go. That's not his game. And I
Once
feel
you
like,
once you get him downhill, it's bad business. So
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and Ravens, they're talking about Ravens are 0-2, and that's the only thing that actually scares me. I
because they're
need to
gonna be
go look
desperate.
at it. I need to go look at it, and I bet I'm right on this. I'm going to hip shoot it. I bet a Jim Harbaugh team, John Harbaugh, sorry, Jim, John, I get them always confused.
John.
Actually, I'll either one. I bet a
Mm-hmm.
Harbaugh team has never gone 0-3
I'm gonna have to look that up. I know somebody in this chat will look it up. It's a
between
hardball
between
team
both
between the both of
between
them.
both brothers. I,
Have they went 0-3 straight, lost three straight?
I bet dude. I would be shocked.
Mm.
I would be absolutely shocked. And I know I'd be willing. I'm gonna pull the Ravens up right now. Well, it'd take me a minute because I got to go year by year. I
Cause yeah.
I just know that they have been a double digit win team for his entire tenure. Besides, there was 3 years there where Flacco got hurt and Flacco got hurt, and they were in a transition. So
Mm-hmm.
other than that, they've been a double digit win team for basically his like I think it's we're going on like 16, 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
Just that's what they do, man. It's a cult. When you talk about culture, when you talk about culture, that's the Ravens or who I think about when you want to talk about culture. And
And
this is what we're
then
going to do.
football. This is football
This is
here.
this is what we're going to do. We're going to
Mm-hmm.
play this way, and we're going to do
Mm-hmm.
this, and you're going to do your job.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not. We're not dealing with this bullshit. You want to go pound
Mm-hmm.
on the sideline, or we're just not. That's it's not even that individualism that you see with Dallas, and it's been there with it's been name a coach, literally name a coach. It happened even with Jimmy at the end. It's the individualism you see with this team, and it's maybe because we focus on them because uh, it's Dallas. I don't think you see that with any other team. And when things start going just a little sideways, just a little sideways,
It goes off the tracks.
yeah. And 2021 was Lamar hurt? Lamar hurt that year? Maybe that should be a caveat. if you have your starting quarterback. I'm just saying I may be wrong. Like I said, I was hit shooting it. That is one hell of a coach. That is they've been consistent, and they say the stat nerds. I've always laughed at this. The stat nerds always want to say that defense isn't replicable from year to year to year to year. Baltimore's had a top 10 defense for fucking 2.5 decades. I mean, let's be real.
I mean, when you
Like
think of Ravens, you think of defense.
defense,
Period.
defense,
When you think of Ravens,
defense.
you think of physical and you think of defense. Period. That's what I think of Ravens. Physical and
So
defense.
that's why the way to beat them is to get ahead of them and make Lamar Jackson pass the football because he
Exactly.
is going. Yeah, I don't care how many MVPs he has. I don't care about any of the num. I do not
He's not
care.
bringing you back
Turn the
though.
damn.
He's not bringing you back with his arm.
No,
Sorry. Don't
he's
he's
not.
not bringing you back with his arm. And I don't
If
fear
it's
that.
garbage,
If he gets
he doesn't even
down
have
15,
garbage
20
time.
points, yeah, I ain't worried about that. That's the what. But here's the thing though, Mike. Dallas has to get a lead. That's the biggest problem Dallas be having too. One of the
That is
biggest problems. They always get behind early, and then they gotta have Dak start throwing the ball everywhere. It's just a bad recipe. Dallas has got to jump on there and put pressure on the Ravens and score early. We get the ball, we got to score. Can't be having these 12, 11 play drives and still ending in Brandon Aubrey right now, man. That is not. We got to get
no.
touchdowns, man.
I think that
Do we? Are
I've
they going to be
always
able to run the ball this game? Are we going to be able to run the ball this game, Mike? I
no.
know it.
Are they gonna elevate Dalvin Cook? Because
Hell no. Cause Jerry says he's cool. We're good.
I've seen enough. I've seen enough of the Deuce Vaughn Make a Wish project. I've seen enough. I've
Right.
seen enough
You
battle.
said you screamed it from here to the Himalayas, Mike, that he too little. He's
It's
too
just,
little. He's a gadget guy, and he ain't even gadget guy for real.
and we
We
don't have
love
the
it that
gadget guy
his
luxury
dad's
right
on.
now. We need
Right. We need wins, and y'all keep forcing, trying to throw him in there to say, yeah, look, we're using Deuce Vaughn. He has no effectiveness not right now when you're using him. I'm sorry, I'm not mad, but a little cornerback grabs him by the shirt, can toss him. You get what I'm saying?
13 yards.
And
He gets thrown into the cheap seats, man.
I mean, he's just
And
too small. And Rico, we've already talked about it. Rico, your audition was last year for me. That was your year for you to show us that you were a guy. You haven't. You didn't. So now I just know what you are. So I'm not hiding on no Rico train no more. And then I'm not even gonna speak on Z. We know what he is. And yes, some of the run fits were bad in that game. But I'm sorry, just like when everybody was hyping up the Cleveland game, ooh, 10 carries, 40 yards. Just like you said, Mike, one of those carries was a 9 yard gain, and it was on a 3rd and 20, and they basically let him get them 9 yards on that game. So really, it would have been 9 carries for 31 yards for a 3 point like four. So people are hyping it,
those,
but you got to
those are
really watch it and
generational
see.
yards, though. Those are
What's-
generational yards. You got to account for that.
And I'm just like, now are we? I just I don't know. And then what are you hearing about CD? Is that just minor with the ankle? Did not practice. Now I told you about this, but I'm wrong. Not you. Not you. I told people
But
about this.
he's not practicing because they know that he and Dak are all they got. Thankfully, Jen Rummies might be back this week, but you know,
That's
it's
forcing
another
it.
one. It's so frustrating about we like our guys, we like this, and people, the Brad Shams in the world and shit. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Brad Shams, because you want to say, "Oh, you're not in the building, you don't know this." Well, I know that there are several other contending teams in the NFL that can survive a tight end going down, and their completely offense doesn't shit the bed because they're competent in free agency. That's what I know. You can't afford these losses, these misses in the draft when you do absolutely nothing in the spring. You can't win the Super Bowl in the spring, but you can damn sure lose it. And you saw just how fragile this offense is. Hell, this entire team. Let Demarcus Lawrence go down. Let CeeDee Lamb go down. Either three. Either of the three. Let hell Terrence Steele. Let Terrence Steele go down. Those three players. Either one of them. Pick one. The true contending teams, they figure it out because they got depth and they got a game plan and they'll work
Facts
around
is
it.
top heavy.
That's we like our guys. We like our guys. That's fine. It's all fine and dandy. Well, then you go ahead and you let 11 of your guys go in one off season and bring in three. Two of them are washed. What the fuck we doing here? Just tear it down. Why'd you even pay Dak? Why'd you pay Zeke or seating? Why'd you do either one of those? If this is what you want to run with, because I want to know if you actually think you're doing a good job. Because if you think you're doing a good job, this is your best effort. Shit.
So I got a couple questions. I've been seeing some questions in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got been having around 100 in the building. We really appreciate it. We got a late start, so shout out to everybody in the building. We really appreciate your comments on here. But I can't remember all the two questions, but I know Mr. Carr says, what about Ryan Flournoy, giving him a shot? And then also I heard a comment about Bohanna got released from Seattle. Would you pick up a Bohanna again? And second, would you give Ryan, is it Flournoy? Flournoy, I'm sorry. Would you give him a chance? And then I'm a rebuttal after you. After
I mean, you can't get anything out of Tolbert, and he's a better player than Flournoy. So I mean, bring him up, sure, but I mean,
he played in small C. This is the thing with that, Mike. I know what he did in the preseason. That is dope. Okay. But that was still preseason, and this is regular season. It's a different animal, and you're still small school. Okay. Sorry. You're still a small school guy. And it's different when you get in that. And now he could be the exception, but you picked him in what round? I think it was like the sixth round, the fifth or
you know,
sixth, the sixth round.
if it's day three, it doesn't matter. It's day three.
So we're getting hyped on this kid who's a sixth rounder from a small school, and we think
Be
he's
the
going to
savior.
come in and do better and be the savior, be better than Tolbert and Brooks. I'm sorry, I don't believe that. And if
And
it does
you know,
happen, that's a rarity.
we're not
That
talking
don't
about
happen.
Whittingham from the Rams coming up and in a competent scheme and picking up slack. We're not talking about that. We're talking about we're just going to plug you in, and here's what you're going to do, and we don't care what you do well. Here's the offense you're going to run, and be there when Dak throws the ball. And if I hear one more time that Dak has the keys to this offense, man, I mean, technically that's true, but it's like having the keys to a damn '69 Volkswagen.
Right.
Is he supposed to? People hear that and they're like, "Oh, well, you want to say the call is coming from inside the house? And Dak's got the keys to the offense." Okay, so Dak's just supposed to completely remaster the offense in 7 seconds before the snap, like a mesh run design and outside zone and different blocking schemes. And hey, by the way, you're tied in. No, no, and I hate that narrative coming out because it's more Mike McCarthy covering his own ass. Dak has the keys to the offense. Dak has the keys to the offense. He has free range to make any check he wants to do at the line of scrimmage. And, we just got to run the ball better. Yeah,
You're right. He
cool.
stays away from that where you can't pin it on him, but it is on him because this is your team and it plays how you coach. And whenever we play these really good teams, the theme is still the same. You get your ass kicked.
Yeah,
So
you're.
that's on you, coach. It's on you
It's
too, coach.
literally the opposite. Literally the opposite of what successful teams do. We watched Brock Purdy out there. He's still in tutorial mode. They lost two of their best players. And that offense still kept going. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
you watch Kirk Cousins and this little shifty scheme they got now. Went out there and won the game. Watch
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield in a competent offense. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
it's but you want Dak to go out there pre-snap with a rookie center, get his checks right, and completely revamp the offensive scheme from the line of scrimmage in the middle of a football game?
Yeah.
Fuck, we talking about? Let's be realistic here, man. It's
Mm-hmm.
not Harry Potter.
Right.
It's like none. There's not a quarterback in the history of the fucking world that could do that.
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes is the best thing we've ever seen, and he's out there in Andy Reid. Andy Reid's making
Right.
his life easy.
Right. Let's get this 4.99 holla shout out to Sighton Troops. Troop, is it? I apologize if I said that wrong. He gives a donation of 4.99 holla. Appreciate your donation, donation, donation. It's a copycat league. McCarthy needs to utilize play action and running game that utilizes blocking tight ends in the passing game, run blocking. I want to ask you, is it like an old offense? We talked about the Texas Coast. Is this like an old, outdated offense? You know, what is this offense? What is this identity of this offense? What is it?
Cowboys football.
And what is Cowboys football?
We're gonna run the ball. We're not gonna run trick plays.
We're
None of that
definitely not running the
bullshit.
football.
It's man on man. We're gonna execute, and we're gonna play Cowboys football. This is why I say the call's coming from inside the house. They don't. The Jones boys aren't smart enough to say we want to, X, Y trips, this, that, and the other. They know what they want to see. And if you do not put that on the field, you will not be coaching here. They want to control the ball. They want to get into easy third downs, which is in their mind less than third and six, which there's no difference between third and three and third and 10, but that's a whole different conversation. They want to get the tight end involved and they want to dominate the line of scrimmage, which is fine because that's how they won, right? That's how they got rings. That's all fine and dandy, man. When you've got 11 fucking Hall of Famers on each side of the ball, not four rookies and a guy recovered from an ACL injury and one wide receiver and a washed up running back core. And I love Dak, but he ain't no damn Troy Aikman,
And
you
this team
know?
at the Cowboys of the '90s. You get what
So
I'm
it's
saying?
it's
Like this team is a 10-win team, right? Just on the talent that you see, and just if you look across the board around the other teams. But my problem is, Mike, it's kind of like I thought we was going to beat the Saints. I really did. But I also, what we talked about, I thought, hey, if Derek Carr gets on early, it could be a long day. And
hey,
I don't have the confidence in this team when you go against a upper echelon squad. I don't have the confidence that Dallas is going to beat those teams. I say we can beat them. You have the potential to beat them, yes, for sure. But it just
I
seems like couldn't
I've
even beat the
never
Dolphins last
worried
year.
in the Dak era. I've never worried about a defense, an opposing defense. I am constantly worried about the opposing offense when I know that scheme is going to come in here and fuck us up.
Hmm.
And you can say what you want about Dak, and my personal opinion, I have never worried about an opposing defense. Till we get to the playoffs, your playoff team, you got to be worried about the damn opposing defense. Everybody's worried. That's the playoffs. That's how they work, especially when you go up against freaking San Francisco. So there's that. But when it comes to a regular season matchup, I never say, "Oh, they got Jalen Ramsey over there. They got They got Aaron Donald over there. They got this. No, what you hear is, oh, they got Cooper Cup. They got Sean McVay. They got that running back there. Could be a long day. Dak's gonna have to Dak's gonna have to be on his game. And you say that in the same sentence. You know what I mean? It's like
Mm-hmm.
we already know
Mm-hmm.
that they're gonna hang 30. We know that. We know it. So can Dak hang 38? Can he hang 42? Because
But
we already know
isn't
they're hanging.
listen what you're saying though, Mike. We were saying the same thing with Romo though. Romo had to outscore the opponents. Like we had to score more points than we knew. No, we knew when you were playing again. I'm just saying the
No, you're
pattern of
right.
the
You're
defenses.
right.
I'm saying the pattern
We,
of the
my,
defenses
my
because you knew
my problem I
if
got.
Romo scored, they were going to score in two, three
Yep.
plays, and he got to bring his ass right back on there and then make another miracle. And that's what is happening now with Dak. Like we have to play with a lead because we have to play from behind. It's just bad, and it's just you
He
got
has to
this
play
talent on this
perfect.
defense, and yes, he has to play. The offense has to play perfect football, but not just that. You got the Michael Parsons, but here's the thing that I want to talk about too, Mike. We are hyping. We felt good about this defense, but Parsons, I he keeps talking. Oh, I need to be better. I need to do this. You just need to do it. Nobody wants to hear that no more from you. You just need to go out there and do it. And we thought you got past this when you said that Green Bay game. Now it's this game. And what if it happens another game? He already said it. If it happens another game, then I'm gonna be questioning the direction of where we headed, right? Well, isn't it on you too? Because you're supposed to be the
No,
leader. You said that last year after
it's
the Green Bay game that
where
I need to
we're
step
headed,
up and be better.
not where I'm headed. Where we're headed, not where I'm headed. Because Parsons will tell you, he'll be the first one. I did my job.
Yeah,
You
he
heard it.
does say that.
I did my job. Well, I can go cut on that tape. I can go cut on that tape right now from Green Bay and Sunday, and I
Non-factor.
see that. I
Non-factor.
I see the exact same fucking player.
It wasn't no damn scheme that was keeping him off out of the backfield and making plays. If you're not getting sacks, you can still make plays, get tackles, get something, right? You just can't be this sack guy, pressure guy. You need to make tackles in that game too. You can still have an impact in other ways. And it seems like when they can put their hands on you, you're eliminated. When they can get their hands on you, you're eliminated. Now, I'm not saying it's that easy because obviously he's a really good player. But Mike, if you took a Michael Parsons off this team, I mean, this team is regular. I mean, he is your like elite talent, right?
For this
Osa,
year.
let's yeah, but I'm just saying, Osa Ogadazua. I like Osa, but
Had his worst game.
had his worst game. Besides Osa, there ain't nobody on that front line. We got D Law. We like Marshawn Nealon, but he's still a rookie. You don't have anything really outside of that. You like Kendricks, Damone Clark. No, I like Leah Falu, and then we love Overshawn. You see that they got to incorporate Overshawn in this because he was more in the dime or the nickel package, excuse me, the nickel package and wasn't the base. You got to find a way to incorporate that. And guess what, Kalen Carson? Welcome to the NFL. They attacked you all game on them edges, run game.
Backflips
They
off his
attacked you
face,
all
dude.
game.
They would
And
do a back
Diggs.
off his face, dude. Hey, and
Carson,
you know
we
what?
like you, but they are intentionally attacking you and Diggs because guess what? The word was already out, Mike, that Diggs don't tackle. We know that he shoulders people, and he was doing it in this game where he was shoulder bumping people. And you think teams ain't gonna be like, oh, we're going to the edge again until you stop it.
There's two types of corners: the corners that tackle and the corners that don't. The corners that tackle end up on the training table more often than not. You know, I'll make a prime example of it. You know, the guy we all wanted in 2016 draft, Jalen Ramsey, hard nosed player, dive down there and throw his shoulder in there like a damn safety on a run play. Blew both his damn shoulders up. Has been down for about 3 years because of it, off and on. You know, with little nicks here and there.
Mm.
I I'm not making it. I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying that's the reality of the situation. There's corners
Mm,
that tackle and there's corners that cover. If you get a tackle or a corner that can tackle and cover, that's a whatever the market is player.
mm-hmm,
That's plain and simple. But then they all break down. I mean, it's just you're crashing in there against tight ends and offensive tackles and running backs and everything else down on the line of scrimmage. And I'm, you know, it's almost like you got to pick and choose your battle. The player does. Where if it's a 3 point game and they're about to pick up the first down, if you don't lay this hammer down, then you got to do it. And if you don't do it, then all right, now we have a conversation. I'm not so much worried about a corner not laying his shoulder into a 240-pound, fullback in the first quarter of a football game. And that's just the way I've always approached it. I don't, I may not like it at the time, but remove the emotion from it, and it makes sense. Why was he in that position in the first place? Like why somebody else probably should have done their job. Maybe he can slow him down, grab a shoestring, trip an ankle. I don't care. Hell, drop kick him. Just don't throw your shoulder into it because you go and George Lewis, a dog. That's a guy that can afford to go. I've been a fan of that guy since the draft. Derrick Henry's not. Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry won't get 60 yards.
yeah, I don't think he's going to go crazy on us. If anybody is going to get all the yards, it's going to be Lamar Jackson. He's going to run on us.
I don't think Derrick Henry gets 60. I I think that this is a
If
close
he does
game,
get them yards, it'll be in that third and fourth quarter when they need them first downs.
or he'll bust it on one, just like he
Mm-hmm.
always does.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a close game. I think if your defense can play sound football, you have the better quarterback, and Lamar Jackson will do Lamar Jackson things to close the game out for you. That's the way I see this going.
Now, I'm a little more. And it's not. I don't. I feel what you're saying about because Dallas is backs against the wall. This is the game they win when everybody says, "Nah, Baltimore gonna beat y'all." You know what I'm saying? This is the game they usually win and show different. And I definitely feel like it could happen. But what I want to ask you, Mike, what if this Raven team comes in here and it's two ass kickings?
If it's
What do you
two ass,
think will happen if it's two ass kickings, especially on like maybe the defensive side of the ball and the offense is still sputtering? Just to play the devil's advocate or just throw it out there, what do you feel? Would that be where you're 1 and 2, your defense is it maybe didn't change from the week before? Do you think there will be what do you think will be going on? Because I know you know people. What do you think will be going on if something like that were to happen?
this is me talking. This is not anything that I may or may not know or whatever the case may be. If it were
Hmm.
me and I'm the GM and you go out there and you have another generational ass whipping, I'm selling everything. Everything over 25 is going. Everything over 25. Besides the quarterback, the quarterback's here. CD Lamb's here, obviously. You're Terrence Steele, that type shit. But any fringe player, Parsons, hey, Baltimore just beat us. You want to go to contender? All right, cool. I that's the way I. This is it's a massive game, and also they could go out there and lose 17-21, and that's just football,
Hmm.
right? That's just
Hmm.
football. But you go out there and you have another fucking 40 burger hung on you when your defense has or your offense has whiskey dick. Yeah, we better start. Mm-mm. That already. It's not even worth trying at that point. It's not even worth trying. You want to slide into the playoffs and mess up your draft stock? I've always been team tank. You got to know when to hold them and know where to fold them. You go out there and you get absolutely nuked. Now, the quarterbacks here, the wide receivers here. We're probably going to pay Tyler Smith. Terrence Steele's here. Like McCarthy's fired. I'll go get Wes Welker in the offseason, bring him in offensive coordinator. It's that's
And
that's what this game
you still telling me Bill Belichick can't be the coach here. You still
now
telling me that?
it
Okay.
would never work. It would never work.
Okay.
It would
Okay.
never work. He wants GM powers. He wants the title
I feel you,
GM.
but you don't think maybe
No,
Jerry would
no,
say with him,
no,
like,
no,
I'm not saying he
no,
would give up the
no,
duties. I'm not
no.
saying he would give up the duties, but you don't think he would let Bill consult with him more? Because you can't tell
Okay,
me the way Bill has changed his whole demeanor. Well, first of all, I think it's that young girl that got him all jumpy and all. But he changed his whole persona and he just keeps talking about this team. And if you have a guy who McCarthy and he's out, and you told me that Jerry don't want to start over, he don't want to start over. You think he will go one of these young upstarts when you say he don't want to start over when you got this guy sitting his ass out just like McCarthy did?
not gonna happen.
Okay.
Not gonna happen because for one, and Bill Belichick might be one of the worst GMs in the history of the NFL
I hear
when it comes
that.
to the draft. Like the fact that they had the dynasty that they did, in spite of his terrible drafts. Also, if
Because
you
there was
bring
a
in Bill,
badass in free agency and they knew when to cut their
say
players.
say they bring in Bill, you're losing Will. Will gone. How about that?
I mean, I'm just saying,
I wouldn't deal with
let
that
me see.
disrespect. Would you? Would
I
you?
wouldn't, but let me see. But Jerry's disrespectful and so is Steven. So let's not say that. They're disrespectful. So, but I just have a hard time believing. I would love a younger mind or whatever to come in here. I just have a hard time believing that if Mike McCarthy doesn't do it, that he puts his stock in somebody who's a younger mind who maybe be an upstart. I just have a hard time believing that when he's 81 years old, about to be 82, and he wants it now. And then Bill Belichick's ass is sitting out there. I ain't saying you ain't wrong, Mike, and I ain't saying it wouldn't mesh with Will, and I agree with you, but it just seems like I think Jerry would take a chance on it, and it would bring in all kind of noise for this Cowboy team. Oh, we got Bill Belichick. You don't think every you don't think if as much as Jerry loves the noise and the firestorm of pay attention to Dallas, Bill Belichick is here in
Maybe.
Dallas now? What? I could definitely see him for the glitz and the glamour. Everybody's talking about Dallas, and we got Bill Belichick. I don't see how that wouldn't happen.
I'd rather have Saban.
Nick Saban? Oh, yes.
I'd rather have Saban.
I'll do
I've
that.
been what,
I
dude? I've been watching.
I would definitely be on that.
I have been watching that man's film. It's, he's been doing coaching seminars since the '80s. I got
Put
some
it out
shit.
there, Mike. Put that out
Dude,
there. Tell someone we want
I
Nick
got
Saban.
I got some VHS shit. Literally VHS.
I don't want no damn Mike Zimmer as the head coach. You do that, and I'm not watching Dallas
No,
no more.
I don't want him.
I'm
I don't
done.
want Mike Zimmer within 1,000 fucking miles of his offense.
If he becomes the head
No,
coach of Dallas, I am not watching Dallas Cowboy football
he
anymore.
had Kirk
I'm done.
Cousins and hated him. Who Kirk Cousins is a damn good quarterback. He had Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson and hated them both. Fuck him. I don't want him anywhere near the offense. But I am
No.
saying that I have VHSs of Nick Saban coaching seminars with on the damn chalkboard. On chalkboard, son. With that is a dude that I have respected for a really, 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 really long time. We're talking 30 years now. I've I've watched. Why didn't Miami work out? Because it's a whole thing. Should have got Drew Brees. I'm saying, as a tactician, as a about as much as a culture shift as you could have within the reason of this circus under the umbrella of this tent that is the Jones world, that's as close as you could get to an actual change. Harbaugh wouldn't do it. Harbaugh, they wouldn't. They would do. They would. Harbaugh wouldn't make it 6 weeks here.
Hell no, they would clash. He'd be like, I'm done.
That that's um that is
I
if
don't
you
want no
want to
damn
talk
Rex Ryan.
if you want to talk about pipe dream bullshit tactician. I'm telling you, dude. I've been watching this dude coach football, like teach football for 30 years. I'm 39 years old. I've been
That's an
watching
old
this
head
dude.
I would take because I don't want Bill
That it,
Belichick here either.
because
I'm just saying
he
the
is.
points to it, but I'll be all on Saban for the old guy.
So there's a phrase I'm going to tie this into is Belich or Saban likes to say, farm your field. You farm your field. When you're on defense, you farm your field. It doesn't matter if your neighbor's field's on fire. You take care of yours, or the fire may end up on yours. You take care of yours. That is basically the long-winded version of saying, do your job. Where you see the constant breakdowns in this Dallas defense, where people start hunting numbers, selfish players.
Don't want no Mike Vrabel. Hell no.
Dude,
Hell
dude,
no.
I'd rather suck start a shotgun. Um, you see it, the breakdowns, the miscommunications, where these gaps end up, and the defensive tackles get tripped and they get reach, and Micah starts jumping over here. Like Micah Parsons, dude, the one shout out to Zimmer, he benched Micah in the third quarter of this last game because he wasn't farming his own field. You do your job. Because if you're not doing your job, it doesn't matter if somebody else isn't doing theirs. If you're not doing yours, that's two more things going wrong. At least you do your job. That's part of that. Belichick got it from Saban with that do your job thing. Farm your field, do your job. It's part of the same concept. But Saban is so, dude. Turn on game day on Saturday when they put Nick Saban on that whiteboard and just watch, or go put it up on YouTube.
I don't want no
There's stuff.
Lincoln Riley.
No, fuck no, fuck no, fuck no, 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 no. I'd rather have Mike Vrabel.
For real.
I I'm talking not. By the way, I'm not talking head coach. I'm talking defensive coordinator, assistant HC. If we're talking head coach, give me Ben Johnson. Give
Yeah,
me
Ben Johnson's been mentioned.
give me Joe Brady. Give
hmm
me Wes Welker. Give me hell, even the guy that just kicked our ass, Kubiak.
That's what this
I
person was
don't,
saying to Cowboys Nation.
I don't want anything to do with a defensive minded head coach at all. That's the Jets'
Agreed.
problem. That's the
Agreed.
that's the Jets' problem. It's you do not want a defensive minded head coach because if that defensive head coach, they're all hard asses. If he gets a stick in his craw
And they're
about
stubborn.
a player. Like I don't want that wide receiver, whatever. I'll just make an example. Mims in New York. Robert Sala got a stick in his craw about Mims in New York and decided he was going to be running with the twos and he wasn't going to see the field again. until he proved his worth. How are you going to prove your worth if you're running with the twos, Buff? So it's that type shit. You defensive coaches look to make people prove it, which stifles growth and has a closed mindset. These offensive coaches, as much as I hate him, like McDaniel down there in Florida, you know, he's what can we do to make this all click together? How can we make this vibe?
Yeah. Well, answer this question for me right quick, Mike, from Alex Ventura. 4.99 holla donation, donation, donation. We appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Are you saying Bill wants GM power because you heard it
Yes,
from somebody? Because I live in New England and the word is he just wants to coach.
he wants say in personnel, and he wants power over the personnel. Will McClay doesn't even have power over the personnel. So if you're going to hire someone over Will McClay, you're losing your draft guru, and you're saying that Jerry and them are willing to relinquish power. That's just not a realistic scenario. That goes against 30 years of history. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm not wrong. That's how
Well,
that. I
we
mean,
about to see, right?
don't you feel the same? I mean,
I,
you
I,
see
I,
what I'm getting?
yeah, I don't, I ain't going against it. You know, even when I've been telling you about Belichick, I haven't, I don't want him here. I've already been vocal. I don't want him here, but I just feel like
I
I
love
kind of
him
know
as a
how
coach,
Jerry is. Yeah.
but if he
But
he wants he wants to be able to cut somebody on Sunday and not have to wait till Monday to ask for permission.
that's fair though, you know? But
I'm
like you
not
said,
saying
he ain't never, yeah, but he ain't never going to get that power. He ain't going to get that
no,
power because
hell
Jerry ain't
no,
going to allow that. Mm-mm.
no.
So it's honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, dog. Well, as we get ready to close here, because we on the hour mark, I'm just keep it real. Just don't see Dallas winning with Mike McCarthy. No big one, and it's not
Dallas by
no fault
seven.
of you, McCarthy. It's not no McCarthy. I like you, but you're not gonna win anything here in Dallas. You'll win games here. I just come to the conclusion you're just not gonna win. I don't see you holding up a trophy with Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones in the background saying we did it. I'm sorry. I don't see that at all. Not close. I don't see it. He's not going to win here and he's going to end up being gone. That's just what it is, in my opinion. I'm not giving up on the season, but I already said it was going to be a lame duck season. So it's not me going against the season. I said it was going to be a lame duck season. And, we'll
Most
see.
consecutive
But
most consecutive success this franchise has seen since the early '90s. Factual information.
factual. And I
Factual
like
information.
McCarthy. I'm not even bashing him, but I just
No,
don't see him winning here. I just don't
no,
see it.
it's
I don't feel it. It's
you
not
can't
happening.
you
I'm
can't
not.
you can't just coach. I've said this several thousand times. Being the head coach of the Cowboys is like you're in a house with 16 toddlers and they all have an endless supply of matches. And no matter how many matches you keep grabbing, they keep finding another and they keep lighting the curtains on fire. You're like, God damn, just you all you got so you're gonna have to find them and chain them all together and put them in a pen or the house is gonna burn down. Now, is that kind of cruel? I mean, you do got 16 toddlers in a cage, but you may have a six, you may have a Super Bowl ring to show for it. So,
Hmm.
it's,
Nah, I just,
that's a good
it's
ending
just,
note.
yeah, it's just the same old thing, dog. It's, it's It's just this.
Dallas.
So
Hey, Dallas is gonna win this weekend. It's all right.
okay, I hope so, but I don't have the confidence like you do. I think it's 50-50. Um, and I'm not worried about Lamar the thrower. I'm worried about Lamar the break the busted plays, throwing deep balls, and scrambling out of stuff and making plays out of nowhere, and then the Derrick Henry, the third or fourth quarter, kicking our ass in. That's the only thing I worry about. And then with this offense, if you don't have it, I don't know what's up with the CD. Yeah, you said there were, that's the only thing that got so probably could be rest more than anything else. But at
It
the
was
end of the day,
GPS.
you don't you don't have any viable threats beyond CD right now on this offense. Let's just be honest. In the run game, Jake Ferguson will be next after CD, but he's hurt right now. But if you go out there without a Jake Ferguson, this team is going to be like, "Yep, we're going to bracket CD and show us what you can do."
The
So we'll see.
the give up in the last game was in the second quarter when they ran that jet sweep to Turpin instead of CD, because that's usually CD's play in that series. It was already they'd already punted. They'd already battened down the hatches. They'd already punted. They knew that. I mean, at that point, the Saints had scored on four straight possessions, and I lean towards the fact that this defense is more middle of the ground than it is the absolute worst defense that's ever been in NFL history.
Hmm.
I mean, I I'll be if I'm proven wrong
It,
on that,
it,
then
it is mid-level defense. If we're looking at it,
but
it's
it's
mid-level.
definitely. I mean, it's definitely not the worst defense in NFL history. But
No, not at all. There's some talent, but it's like I said, if you took a Parsons off the team and he hasn't been, taking that next level right here this year, this defense is very real regular because the safety play is average. You still got Diggs coming back from injury. You got a rookie on the other side, and then, like I said, your front line is not good, and it
this
puts
is
more pressure on everybody else. And if you can't get stops, I don't like this offense playing from behind. That's the main thing I'm gonna say. If you can't get stops, I do not like this offense playing behind because it's not explosive. It's a 10,
this
it's a 9, 10, 11, 12 play drive team, and then field goals. That's what I feel like this offense is.
this
Not
is
explosive.
where having the most secure GM job in sports would come in handy,
Where you
because
can
I
just
would
use your
have,
card right now. Like,
dude,
okay, we need to change. We got picks.
I would
Let's make it happen.
fold fold that some bitch in, fold it in, burn everything that we can get capital for outside of the core group, and we're coming back in 25 with our head on fire. That's what I would do, because you're not getting fired. Cowboy ain't getting fired. Will McClay ain't getting fired. Jerry Jones ain't going to fire himself. They've already paid Dak. They've paid Lamb. Terrence Steele's here. They're going to pay Tyler Smith. You got Guyton. You got your BBs. Shit, son. I'm telling you. Not, it would be a miserable season, but I'm telling you, man. I'm throwing Cooper Rush out there Sunday. I'm let this game play out. Let this game play out, and shit, man. Think about what you could have in 25 sitting on a top 10 draft pick.
Would you trade for Hassan Reddick?
Thought, no, he didn't want to play.
Why?
He didn't want to play. Hey, you want to talk about CeeDee Lamb? Hold down. When's the last time Hassan Reddick took a football snap?
Bro, but you know what? They came over there promising. That's a whole different subject. I don't want to get into it because we better close, but we'll talk about that on another day because I don't like how the Jets kind of did him.
Oh,
And it probably
hey,
just,
that's your defensive coach being a dickhead.
yeah, I don't like how they did him. It's basically like y'all traded for me, then y'all made these promises like y'all gonna do this, and y'all ain't doing none of it. I feel them, you know what I mean? But we'll see, we'll see. Appreciate everybody in the building. We held 100 steady. We thank you because we got the late start, but we definitely appreciate everybody who was in the building. Love all the comments, all the good donations. Shout out to everybody who donated as well. Um, we'll see. You know, Mike says we're gonna pull this victory out. I don't have that confidence like he does. I'm more we'll see. We'll see what happens, and then I'll go from there. Because I don't feel good about the defense, and I just don't like the lack. I don't like the lack of playmakers on the offensive side of the ball, and I just feel like if you get behind again, it's just going to be that same damn thing. So we'll see. But I appreciate you, my dog. Kiss the wifey, hug the dogs, all that good stuff, and we will be talking to you soon. All right.
Thank y'all. Thank
Salutes.
everybody. Sincerely, thank y'all. Later, Bubba.
Appreciate you. All right, man. There it is. Make sure you tune in. We'll see if the big star show is going on tomorrow. I have to holler at Star. You know, I'm gonna pick with her. She's super cowboy lady. I love it. I'm gonna pick with her. And then let's see what happens on the best of enemies. I think we're gonna rock that out Saturdays now. So we'll see what happens. But we'll see what happens in this game. I don't have the confidence like other people do. Um, we'll just see. We'll just see. But I'm out, y'all. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the donations, and thank you for all your great comments and everything else. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Be talking to you. Big Game James.